Find the button. There it is. Hello, and welcome to episode 27 of Real Time Chatting. I'm Josh, here as always with S.
Hi.
Hello. And today, also here with our special guest, I haven't actually asked you how to pronounce this, PerOculos?
Pretty close. It's a dead language. It's Latin. It's PerOculos.
PerOculos, okay.
Not bad though.
Or something like that.
Oh, I was going to say Oculus, like the the VR headset, but
Your name means like something with and I, right?
It's in Latin it translates to. It seemed like it rolled off the tongue, so it's kind of why I chose the name. But it just means through the eyes.
Yeah, through the eyes. I thought as much. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, you're here today to talk with us about Portal 2 a little later on the show. We always save the spotlight bit to the end and then chat Q&A and stuff. So we'll go through what we've been doing this week, and then we'll do the week's speedrun records. So
Yes, Josh, what have you been doing this week?
Okay, all right, you got me. What have I been doing this week? I'm first, am I? What have I been doing the past week? Oh, of course. Yeah, I was about to say I haven't done speedruns of anything, but I have. I've been doing a weird thing, Grand Theft Auto Online, which is obviously a multiplayer game. But yeah, I've been speedrunning the heists with a few people, like routing it and stuff. It's interesting because it has positives and negatives. It's a good thing because I think it's interesting doing a multiplayer GTA game, right? Like, you got all these objectives to do, and you got to spread out the responsibility and try and get it to work with everyone, their ability to do stuff. And then you got all the routing of stuff that's like, what apartment do you use, what car do you use here, and stuff like that. Because it's kind of like an MMO, and you can just spawn your own vehicles and stuff. But then it has the big downside of it's on Rockstar's crappy servers, and they tried to make it an MMO. So it's totally load time dependent, and the load times aren't anything to do with your computer. They're just whenever the server wants to wake up. And then you have lots of... We were having this really annoying issue whenever we completed one part of a heist, and then we all went into some guy's apartment to start the next part of the heist. It would just kick us all out the apartment constantly. We couldn't figure it out. And yeah, there's lots of other issues like that. But I think it's interesting. Not a very popular speedrun, both in viewership and in runners. But recently, someone came along who's from the GTA Online racing community and kicked our asses. He did the first heist, and he did it really fucking fast. And now I know that curb boosting at a really high FPS is completely broken in that game, so that's fun.
Curb boosting?
Yeah, so there's in GTA 5's engine and a little bit in GTA 4, if you drive over a curb, when the wheel bounces into the air, it accelerates in the air, and when it lands, it's going slightly faster than before. And if you bounce up and down on curbs constantly, you go really far. It gave me 2 miles an hour every time you do it, but it gets a bit dumb. Yeah. But the problem with it is it's frame rate dependent, so the higher FPS, the better it is. And they did their runs at 140 FPS. They put everything to low and recorded like that. So I'm in the process of doing a load of research on the effects of frame rate in GTA 5, and I'm going to make a massive forum post, and I'm going to talk to all the GTA 5 and all the GTA Online runners and say, hey, do we need a frame rate rule? And I love frame rate rules in GTA games.
That's a nice can you're going to open now.
Yes, a nice can of worms I'm going to have to open. And I did a lot of research. I looked at GTA 5, and they don't seem to curb boost that much. And in my runs, when I did it, I was like, oh, curb boosting's important, because I watched some other runners, people that race in that game. So I curb boost a little bit. I tried to like not swerve too much and keep a nice racing line. And then this guy comes along. And this guy comes along and drives like a maniac, just swerving all over the place and avoiding the racing line just to hit an extra curb. And he goes like 30 seconds faster than me in a 15-minute category. 2 minutes faster than me even.
Seems legit.
Yeah, so that's fun. Anyway, that's what I was doing this week. Glad I got that out of my system. What have you been doing, S?
I had speedrunning wise absolutely nothing.
Excellent.
I found out that I had Deus Ex Mankind Divided in my Steam lists. I don't remember buying that. So I installed that and I'm hooked. So that's where all my time sank.
Fair enough.
Do you mean wait, what Deus Ex?
Mankind Divided, the latest one.
Oh, gotcha.
How did you only find out you had that in your Steam list?
I was like, my friend was over and we were looking through my Steam list, and like he said, "Oh hey, you have Deus Ex games," and I was like, "Yeah, I need to get the latest one. I don't have it yet." And he took a look at the list. You sure you don't have it? Because I see it right there, and I was like, "Oh."
How? How did you know what?
I think what I did is it was on sale, and I went to bed like the last day of the sale, and then I was like, wait, that game is on sale, I need to get it, right? So in my tired face, I got the game before it went off sale, and then went back into bed, and I don't remember. That's what I'm guessing happened.
All right. Fair enough.
It's pretty nice. It's a way to give a present to yourself.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. And what about you? What have you been doing this week? PerOculos. I already forgot how to say it.
That's fine. It's a lot of people in the community. Like when I first went into Zernicus's stream, he for some reason, being a really smart guy, he couldn't pronounce my name. He just ended up calling me Pero, and so that's kind of what stuck in the community.
All right.
But when you asked what you were doing this week, I thought that was kind of funny because just a little bit ago, like literally last week, I did something that I don't really do, which was basically a combination effort of trying to plug the podcast that I was going to be on. And yeah, May 18th, like just a little under a week ago, I made a video where it was just my face, just the webcam, just like this is what I'm gonna be doing this week, and it was like, and my plan, I kid you not, was just I'm gonna be grinding for the world record, and then maybe if I get that, then I'll be able to talk about it. And I didn't get to do as much practice or as much runs as I wanted to, because I just had a bunch of work and 2 nights ago, I just decided to have one too many screwdrivers, which is just orange juice and vodka, which is OG and quite amazing. But yeah, I ended up getting the world record yesterday in Portal 2, completely just hungover, and it was amazing. It was a nice mix of feelings, and that's kind of what I've been doing.
All right, fair enough. And yeah, I guess we'll pretty convenient you got the record in it. We'll talk about that later. It's funny. Normally, our guests that come on the show haven't completed a run of it in ages, and then 2 weeks after the podcast, they set a world record.
Nice.
But you did it before. All right, so that's what we've been up to this week. Let's move on to what the community has been up to this week, or all the speed runs we could find, all the records for runs we could find for the past week.
That we know something about, because I saw some runs, but I never even heard of the game. That's why we don't cover them.
Fair enough. All right, so if I manage all these things correctly, there we go. So the first run that we're going to talk about this week, we always seem to start with a GTA run, but that's because me and S are both GTA runners, so that's naturally going to happen. But yeah, the first run for today is Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, any percent, no save glitch, there we go, I got it, in 3 hours, 7 minutes and 42 seconds by Respect2, who is not someone I've heard of.
get that meme.
I think they've actually been. I think they've been running this before, maybe. But anyway, yeah. So Chinatown Wars. Do you know anything about this game, S?
I think this is GTA 4, but in 2D GTA 2 style. So it's like GTA 2 meets GTA 4, right?
Oh, I thought it would be. I thought it was GTA 3. Is it HD era?
I think so, yeah.
Huh. I don't know which law set it
Look
belongs
at the
to.
radar. It's just like the GTA 4 one.
Yeah, you're right. It is. Yeah, here's the big long bridge with the toll booth at the end. Yeah, it is. Holy crap! I never noticed it was GTA 4 before. Huh. Okay, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. Go on.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the graphics and everything like that. So I'm guessing this is an older game where it's either that or it looks like a Flash game. It's
It's from 2008 or 9 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it's a PSP game though, so that explains the graphics. Yeah, it was Rockstar going back to their roots and making a 2D game. Unfortunately, nobody likes the 2D games, so it wasn't the most popular in the world. Wow, we got stuck on the lamppost, Jesus. But yeah, the only thing I do know about this is what no save glitch means. And basically, there's a glitch in the game where at the very start, in the starting cutscene, if you pause during the starting cutscene and save, and then load that save, you spawn in the default safe house with everything unlocked. It's just, for some reason, the very start, during that first cutscene, everything is unlocked. They don't actually lock stuff until the end of the cutscene. That's what save glitch is. So that category is basically do the glitch, spawn, run to the road, get the fastest vehicle you possibly can. If you don't, you reset. Drive it to the final mission. It's like the halfway checkpoint of the final mission. Start that, do that perfectly, and then yeah, that's the end of the game. It's like what, 5-10 minutes long, something like that.
Not even. I think.
Wow.
No.
That's 8 minutes. No.
Yeah, something like that.
It
But
doesn't
yeah,
seem like a very long game, like to begin with, though. If that's a full run of it,
yeah,
if it's
it's the full run with the glitch. Yeah, it's ridiculous. You skip everything. But yeah, this is the full game without the glitch, which is probably the better category. It's a run. As far as glitches go, it's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually know too much about this game. I own it and I played it, but I don't know if I ever beat it. I just don't like the 2D GTA games. Alright. Anyway, that's the obligatory... We used to always do Unreal Tournament record. Now we always do a GTA record. Yeah, that was Chinatown Wars. How can it be... Okay, the splits are weird, whatever. I forgot to delete the times on the splits, never mind. The next game we have in this list, which I hope somebody knows about, because I don't, even though I put it here. Okay, God.
the Sunshine.
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah, Super Mario Sunshine. Does anyone know anything about it? Go on.
Nope.
What record is this? Any percent. Jeez.
Yeah, it's Super Mario Sunshine, any percent in 1:14:40, which the only thing I do know about this game is that it's pretty optimized, because in his splits the record's like his PB is 1:14:58, so that's an 18-second improvement.
Yeah, Super Mario Sunshine is like a very popular Mario. Obviously not as popular as the other one, 64.
Yeah.
But it's still very popular. Isn't this in like a top 10 most popular speed games? Or am I completely wrong here?
No, you are right. I think on speedrun.com it is one of the most popular runs, yeah. Any percent has... Oh my god. I'm still scrolling.
Yeah, exactly.
Any percent has 710 individual runners. Yeah, okay, fair enough. That's why that page took a while to load. Yeah, so this is a really popular game, and somehow we have 3 people who don't know anything about it to talk about it. We should... Actually, this is one of those games that we should get on at some point, because it is an entertaining run, and there is a big community for it, and it's very technical, from what I can gather. Yep. But yeah, the only thing I know about this game is it's on the GameCube. you have like a water jetpack on your back, and there's an evil paint Mario who's painting these stars, and you have to unpaint them with water or something like that. I don't know. But it has like super technical movement. It has like the same sort of movement style as Super Mario 64, except you have a water jetpack. So, and I imagine it's pretty glitchy. But yeah, new record. Probably super optimized. Fact that it saves 18 seconds, and there's 710 runners. So I would hope it is.
Yeah.
We just hit that through under the ground. That was interesting. There you go.
And with any kind of like a Mario game, especially or Mario, whichever way you want to pronounce it, they tend to have so much cutscene that the level of optimization, I think like just seeing 1 hour, 14 minutes and 40 seconds doesn't really give it justice to how little gameplay you're kind of working with any Mario game. Because just any star getting, or even just the beginning cutscene, it looks like this has one of the longest intros of any of those Mario games.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, that's a good point.
That sounds horrible.
Yes, it's a really long intro. I remember that. I remember hearing people complain about it. All right. So the next run, I hope you know something about. It's Portal 2. God, what is this? Single player, single segment?
It's kind of ridiculous. All those things apply to it, but it's what I've just ended up calling it is it's container ride skip, because it's everything that single segment was except for the first 4 minutes and like 30, 40, the 4.5 minutes essentially, or approximately, of the game is just cut out of that, because it's very easy to optimize it and like to get basically frame perfect inputs to it. And I won't go into all my arguments of why we do it now, but yeah, it's basically just called container ride skip. It's still has no saving and loading, at least aside from deaths, which I did have one in this run in Turret Factory, which probably lost like 5 seconds. But other than that, it was a pretty good run. It was, I mean, it's obviously the best, but it's yeah, it happened. It literally about 14 hours ago, and I mean, world records, they tend to not happen very often in this game. I think I've been grinding this one for, oh geez, I don't exactly remember when I got my last one, the one that just barely beats Nerdicus by about 3 seconds. But yeah, I think maybe like a couple months ago, something like that. But this is another improvement. It's by a little bit more, and what kind of makes it nice to talk about, as I was saying a little bit before, is that the highs and lows of the run are very kind of easy to discern, because the main low, which is like 35 seconds of time loss, which actually I guess we can start playing right now. That one is going to be at 49 minutes and 4 seconds. That's a map called Three Gills. It's it's the last map of, I want to say, the hardest chapter, only because of the few maps that are in there. It's super optimized, and the tricks that you have to do, are really ridiculous. That right there was a stuck launch, which takes place when you get stuck between two objects in such a way where the game still thinks that you're falling for some reason, even though you're stuck. So you gain momentum, and you place blue gel under you in order to, once you have about 1,000 to 1,100 velocity going down, you bounce up over this invisible wall. However, I was about less than a block away from hitting that or getting over that invisible wall, so I ended up losing all this time, and it is pretty out of my control how long you can get stuck for in that. I didn't manage to get stuck for long, like about 1/10 of a second long enough, so that ended up costing me that. But otherwise, it was a very solid run. I had a couple of golds, or cyans in my case, the way I use my splits. The first of those being Bridge Intro, which is at 17:55. It's a pretty uneventful chamber unless you do it pretty fast. I either tied or it beats the old segment from the segmented run that we have. but yeah, I just go through it as you would as a person who newly got a mechanical keyboard for the first time. It's that is a nice little thing to have. I can't stress enough, if you're playing any like speedrunning game on PC, don't deal with latency if you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's that chamber all
right, cool.
all fast and stuff.
Fair enough.
It was a nice little run. That it was.
Right.
Cool. All right, and yeah, we'll talk about the whole game as a whole later. The whole game as a whole, good sentence. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, this actual run itself is good. So that's not too much time loss. How much is it improved by the previous record?
Just about 7 seconds. I really had to just get this incredible chapter 8 and 9 in order to just barely get that. But yeah, like I wouldn't say they were flawless. There was a couple of mistakes, like one for 4 seconds, which is the most in Laser Catapult, which is somewhere in about the middle of chapter 8. But other than that, very, very solid ending after that map. I went ham. Got a golden, actually, a map that you played before on an episode I saw with Cool Kid. Oddly enough, because I didn't anticipate that being there, my run. I lost about 13 seconds in that chamber, which was the second most time loss that I had in that run. But I got a gold there too, and that was like, it's a nice map to be able to do fast. But yeah, there was ups and downs.
Cool. All right then. So that was that. Portal 2. I'll talk about that later. And next up in our list is I don't know if any of us are going to know anything about this, but hopefully it's somewhat watchable. This is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time glitchless in 3 hours, 35 minutes, and 30 seconds, which is a damn long time if you know anything about Ocarina of Time. But I guess it makes sense as it's glitchless. Yeah. You haven't ever played this game, did you, S?
No, I have not.
Okay. Did you play this, Per?
I've played it on emulator like back in 2008 probably, but yeah, I think that this world record, I believe ZFG has a 100% world record in this game for like 4:15, and the fact that it's that much lower being glitchless is, I guess, I mean it's about what 40 minutes less, but it's, I mean, he said in his comments that it's a great run. I didn't see exactly how long he's been running this game, but I mean, if he has world record, I mean, Jesus, it's Ocarina of Time, one of the oldest speedrun games.
Yeah, exactly.
At least according to ZFG. But yeah, it's I mean, I'll take his word for it that it's a good run, and I'm gonna have to see if there's anyone that can offer up some like ridiculous pieces of this run. Maybe Danny B himself, if he has anything to say about this in the comments or his description. I'd like to see what's going on in this run, because I mean, it is glitchless. I would assume that if it's anything like Portal 1 glitchless, it's probably just optimized to hell with things that you would not necessarily do intended, but kind of within the confines of some some guidelines or some ground rules.
Yeah, I did. Normally, whenever we cover a glitchless category, I do have a quick look at the rules to see if it's like actually glitchless or not. And here's the rules, and there's a
long list.
Yeah, there's like a massive list of banned techniques, and then a slightly smaller list of allowed ones. But I read through them. I don't know anything about the game, but it sounds reasonable. So they say at the top, like, clarifications, since it's such a grey area in defining what is or not a glitch in this game, a group of players define the rules, which is, fair enough. And yeah, stuff like jump slashing in midair for more distance. I mean, that's not a glitch, is it? That's just a game mechanic, surely, right? Like you jump in the air and then you slash, so you go further, right? So yeah,
I think you literally found the grey area.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's an allowed technique, yeah. So I mean, that makes sense. And yeah, damage buffering or damage boosting. I mean, damage boosting is in loads of games. So
yeah.
So
Portal 2.
Yeah. So I like this list. I like how they had to, like, no wrong warping and skipping cutscenes. It's obvious. But yeah, so it doesn't look like a bad list. But yeah, it's obviously it must be really optimized. This run is 30 minutes, 1 minute faster than second place. 1 minute and 1 second. So yeah, I imagine it is pretty tight up there. Not much, unless like a new route happens, right? You can't find new glitches, so it must just be all about route and execution.
Yeah.
All right. I'm still running that video. There we go. Next up is a game I do know a little bit about, but I'm more interested in the person and not the game. If that makes any sense. But next is Hearthstone, Curse of Naxxramas, which is a single-player adventure in Hearthstone. But this is the heroic difficulty, so it's like the hard mode. But this person who submitted it, I can't read their name. What's their name on the website? Tsubaki? Yeah, something like that. This is their like first run on speedrun.com ever, and they obviously speak only Japanese, and they used Google Translate to find their way all the way to speedrun.com and then submit this run to us, which is pretty impressive to me. So I'm gonna read the comment they left on it. So it's a apology. Because this explanation depends on Google Translation, it is highly likely that it is a wrong sentence. When fighting Kel'Thuzad, I made big time loss due to mistakes in memory and judgment. I have made many other mistakes as well, therefore there is much room for record update. And yeah, the one says they crushed Fugan and Stalag a year ago, therefore they devised a less influential deck. And I had tried to figure out what they meant by that, and I think they meant it's called dusting, where you like get rid of old cards to craft new ones. So I think whatever their word for that is translates to crushing for some reason. But yeah, I think it's really cool that someone all the way from Japan that doesn't speak English managed to submit a run of something I know and stuff. And they actually did really well, considering they didn't have all the cards. It makes me wonder if maybe the Japanese language is faster, because you have to wait for dialogue sometimes. Maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the written language is probably a bit faster. It's the same thing in there's just less there's less characters. It seems like to communicate the same information with.
Yeah, it's speaking length though, not written. That would, because you have to wait for the characters to talk like verbally. So.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if Japanese is faster than that one. I'm not sure. But yeah, I actually managed to communicate to them in the comments as well, using Google Translate. It was pretty funny. But yeah, there's that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Managed to connect with someone on the other side of the planet. No, we don't speak the same language, but we still managed to communicate with the power of speedrunning. And yeah, the run's pretty good as well. It's like 5 minutes faster than the previous run. With slightly suboptimal strategies. Alright, next up, we go bounce back to Portal. It's Portal 1, or just Portal, I guess, out of bounds in 7 minutes and 55 seconds. So don't blink or you'll miss it, because this is pretty ridiculous. I think this is a reset we're watching here, because it didn't start at the right time.
Sometimes they tend to do that.
Skip ahead anyway, because like the first minute or two is still intro anyway.
Yeah.
Well, there is the one like in Chamber 01, they do have the button save glitch, which is a new little route that they do. Oddly enough, I guess they just kind of decided that was just a thing. I think that was probably influenced by the task that Yuxpa put out, where he did that button save glitch, and so they just decided why not. And unless it actually took some finding, which would be surprising because it was in Portal 2 for a while. Yeah.
So what is it? So is Chamber 01 the next one? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's just the yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
I see it is.
I think I know what it is. They cut the intro out where they're stuck in the room. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Saves a couple portals. Yeah. It's definitely faster.
Oh, button save glitch.
That's
Yeah. So they hold down the button and then save, and then it keeps
Exactly.
it. Interesting. Okay. I like how Portal 1 runners always seem to like change their game a bit. Like whenever the quick load and quick save stuff says stop hacking, and they have like custom textures and stuff.
Yeah, it's a fun little community. I can't really speak for the Portal 2 or Portal 1 community, but yeah, we get along in our own special way.
All right, yeah. Now if I skip ahead, once he actually gets the portal gun, I imagine some weird stuff happens. Oh yeah, there it goes. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't know anything technically about this run.
What the hell is going on?
It's just craziness to watch. They're just in a black void shooting portals at things, and then they're at the end of the level. Amazing.
I like how I even changed like the save text to it looks like just emojis.
Emojis, yeah.
Well,
Oh, nice
face.
mirror all of a sudden. Okay, that makes sense. Sure.
yeah,
Sure, Portal. Sure.
it's probably
Yeah.
real.
All right, let's not sit here gawping at it for a long time. But yeah, if you want to watch the madness that is that, you can go watch that run. Right, so next up, we go back from Portal back to Hearthstone. This wasn't the best ordering in the world, but never mind. And now it's another Hearthstone game. We had 2 Hearthstone runs this week. Maybe I shouldn't have put the other one in there. Never mind. But this is
Well, it was created by someone. So.
yeah. So this is Hearthstone Heroic Karazam speedrun in 56 minutes and 6 seconds. So this is a later single player adventure they added, but it's still hard mode, and trust me, hard mode is damn hard. So, oh hey, it's the chess game. I like the chess. But yeah, someone submitted it, and Zephyr, I think, and we have comments, right?
They left.
I mean,
You know, if you handed this in as a school project, your teacher would tell you, "Hey, this is too long. I don't feel like checking it." Right?
okay.
He left like 5 pages of comments.
Right. Is any of it short and relevant and to the point?
I don't know. I didn't read it because I don't know what I am reading about.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to it. I can tell you that much.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I can attest to say that this isn't simple. I know it's Hearthstone and it's all RNG and stuff like that. It's a card game speedrun, but it's actually pretty interesting the strategies you have to try and employ to trick the AI and to do dumb stuff and whatnot. Like the single player of this game, especially on Heroic, like I keep saying, it's really hard. Right? It's really hard. Some people take like months to beat Heroic mode because you just have to get really lucky sometimes. But doing a single segment speedrun of it is pretty ridiculous. And probably wouldn't have been possible if they didn't add deck slots recently. Well, like a year ago actually. Because before we were limited to 9 decks, but now you have 18. So you have 1 deck for each boss. Otherwise, it would be impossible. All right, that was Hearthstone for the second time. Right, and lastly for this week, it is, if I can find it.
Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Yes.
Which is a game of which I played the first 30 seconds, and then the rest I can't remember.
Fantastic. Do you know any more than that, Per?
I know that at some point you fall into a crypt and you gotta fight undead things. This was like, I mean, yeah, Deus Ex was the first FPS that I played back in like 2003 or something, and then this one was probably one that I played shortly after that. But yeah, my memory is blah on this one. I'm kind of the same way. Like, you remember going through the castle in the first level, but then things just get complicated. There was a time-stamped piece of this run that I saw of just a really nice bunny hopping sequence, but for I think that was like 24 minutes in.
It's at the 29-minute mark, I think.
29. Okay.
The video
Yeah.
time.
that like you can kind of see like there's some pieces where I'm not sure whether. I think there's one part where he actually kind of surfs off of a slope, which was pretty nice and reminiscent of like I guess just source bunny hopping but the way the movement that he uses is so rigid. It just seems like it's kind of like ridiculous bunny hopping, like Portal 2 is ridiculous bunny hopping for Source, where it's almost the same thing, but it has its own little its own kinks, and it's pretty great that way. It seems like he seemed to have optimized it a lot. I think the angle of his monitor as he's like playing is kind of I feel like I have to explore that, and there's that surf. But yeah, like it seems like he's really damn good at it. I've seen Blood Thunder run this a while ago, but this just looks like just something else. Like this is his game, kind of like Portal 2 is mine, it looks like.
Yeah. That's cool.
What engine is this?
Oh, no idea.
Alright. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the first level, and you're going to tell me how mind-blown you are about that.
Alright.
I doubt anything spectacular happens, because it's the start of the game. You probably don't have any tools or anything, but we'll see. So do you remember this?
No, yes. Kinda.
Okay. Maybe this
We're
is
killing that guard, definitely, but
They're just always me, so I don't really remember. But I
Right.
remember that electricity thing.
I remember the dialogue for the guards was just a couple of sound bites, and they just made the entirety of the army you're fighting based on those couple of sounds, like halt and I don't know, the death sounds and all that. Seems
All right.
it had just enough.
All right. Let's not sit here and subject ourselves to this then. Sit here and more speculate about runs. All right, but yeah, that's Return to Castle Wolfsfine. I Am Deaf Incarnate, I guess, is the difficulty in 43 minutes and 58 seconds, which is, I'll just quickly check. That's like 8 minutes faster than the second place. So yeah, that's pretty damn good for a 43-minute game. All right, yeah, and that's that. That was all the records we could find for this week. If we missed any big things, which I hope we didn't, then it's not just on us. You could have let us know about it using our submission form. Yeah, quick link it. So yeah, if you see any records that are interesting that happen in the next week, go ahead and fill out our submission form and let us know about it. And you can even type stuff in the comments, and then we won't just sit here and randomly speculate at the first level, which we sort of remember a bit. Yeah, let us know about any records you find, and we'll post them. As long as they're full runs and not ILs. We had a few people submit ILs. We don't do ILs. Because if we did ILs, then this would be like 5 hours longer. All right. So, moving on to the next segment. This is In the Spotlight. So this week, obviously, we're doing Portal 2. So we got PerOculos. I forgot. Pero, whatever. Here to talk about Portal 2. So yeah, it's just tell us. I forget what the prompt I normally give people. What's the speaking prompt I normally say?
Tell us about the speedrun.
I mean, to introduce people, I could kind of talk about. I mean, do you want to talk about like Portal 2, or I guess not like just the run in particular. So I guess it's a game that came out in 2011, I think, in the spring. We have an anniversary thing every year in April. But yeah, it came out quite a while ago, over half a decade ago now. But it's been speed ran. It didn't really start with a community, it seems like. However, I think there was a couple of prolific speedrunners that kind of made for the community. Like my introduction to speedrunning, it was Xenernicus's AGDQ run, but I've heard like before that what people tend to have been introduced to it with was Bananasaurus Rex's challenge mode runs, and I mean there was a couple of there was a couple of sorry, I just lost my train. There was a couple of single segment runs posted before. I think US Cobra might have done one a while ago that was like a 1 hour and 12 minute end game. And from there, like the world record, I think Spyro Knight might have had it for a bit. Really the main person who's had the world record in this game forever has been Xenernicus in single segment. The challenge mode community has been a lot more popular lately and for the past few years because it's so optimized, and just when you see a run posted to YouTube, you know it's something that you have to watch because it's going to be ridiculous, and it always just tends to be that way with the shorter runs. Hence, 5-hour IL podcast, whatnot.
What is challenge mode?
Challenge mode is it's a mode in the game. Well, it's a way to play the game where you have leaderboards somewhat hosted by Steam, or not. Yeah. They have like their own kind of leaderboards hosting both least portals records and least time going the fastest, basically through a level in one go. And they have their own ways of kind of making sure that it's a nice competitive kind of a medium to play the game in, and it tends to be like for most people what we sink like many hours into, as single segment has been on and off popular lately, especially with Xenernicus being the world record holder for so long. But yeah, I guess with challenge mode and single segment, we also have custom maps that there's a community based around that. I don't really frequent that community a lot, but there's some really that's where we tend to get the most optimized movement, and just where people tend to find out the most about the mechanics of going fast in the game. And if you've played any other Source games, and you know about the bunny hopping mechanism, the thing that kind of sets apart Portal 2 from any of the earlier games, if you can bunny hop in them, is your movement. You can strafe up to kind of a limit. If you turn, and what bunny hopping is basically is just if you're in the air, you hold a directional key. It can be W, A, S, or D, preferably A or D. I can explain that a bit later, but it's you hold that and you move the mouse in the direction that you're in line with the directional key that you're holding, and you'll gain units per second or just speed up until 300 velocity, at which point you'll just kind of go in a straight line, and you can kind of do very minimal strafes to gain speed from there, but only in a straight line, which is something that really doesn't exist in, I believe, any other Source game, unless Portal 1 also has that kind of a thing. It's hard to say. But yeah, it has that same bunny hopping kind of a mechanism, and it's made for a really incredibly high skill cap on this game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we base our community around, kind of. That and wonderful memes.
Fair enough. So you say, go on, S.
Yeah, go on. You do it.
Okay, you say that Valve run their own leaderboards for the ILs, basically. Do they not patch out bunny hopping or anything like that?
They've made a couple of patches in the years that it's been going on. The first of the patches that happened very early on was something that a lot of people based some routes on, like Demonstrate. He was an early router, and he had a lot of routes based on this thing. So I'll explain what a reportal is. It's where you're going into a portal from essentially any portal that you can get into. And when you get out of the either as you're going out of the portal or going into it, you place a portal so that what it does is there's a little mechanism in the game where if you're standing on like in between two portals or you're just in between two portals in general, it'll try to push you out of it so that I guess you can't just break all their puzzles, because you definitely could if you were just able to stand in any portal that you're supposed to be flinging out of or what have you. But we found out that we could use reportals in a lot of different ways in order to break puzzles and do them less than intendedly. But there was one in particular where you could go into the ground portal and shoot onto the ground right under you, or anywhere on the ground you could, and you could do a reportal like that and boost yourself through the other one. But for some reason, they just decided to patch that reportal in particular, where you gain momentum from placing a portal on the ground. You can place it anywhere else, like on a ceiling, even on any kind of a wall. But they patched that, and I guess they decided it was too hard to reportal or something when you shoot it on the ground. Other than that, there's been a couple of more nefarious patches that they've made, which, to be honest, I have no idea how they learned about it. They seem to barely really maintain their leaderboards. There's a lot of hacked times on theirs in particular. But they had a patch to a kind of nefarious command in the developer console called fizz_timescale, where you could, unprotected by SV cheats, there's the death in my run right there, the turret factory one. It lost like a couple of seconds, but yeah, that's the first time in so long that I've died there. It's not a fun one. But on Fizz timescale, a couple of runners exploited it, and some did so trying to conceal it, and that created a bit of a controversy in the community back in like 2013 or so. And since then, there's been actually one that you were talking about curve boosting in Grand Theft Auto, and I was thinking about this one that they didn't patch it. There's no way they can patch it because it doesn't rely on the developer console. It relies on launch options, which is minus tick rate, and you can change that. It changes the rate that ticks that they ticks. I'll start by saying this. Ticks are like a measurement of they're a way to measure time in the game, and certain things happen within the game dependent upon that rate. And so if you adjust that before launching the game, some nutty things can happen. One of them, which I was thinking, was you can actually, I guess it reads inputs faster, so you can bunny hop actually faster in the game doing that. But there's a couple of other things that are a lot more noticeable, and they haven't managed to patch that one. I don't know if they ever will, with the amount of effort they put into it, but there's been some changes and everything like that to the challenge mode gameplay or community, and we've adjusted accordingly. We make our own kind of ground rules for everything, and we even have our own leaderboard. Well, one person in particular was they have the ultimate conclusion to what the leaderboards are because he put so much time into it. But that's iVerb, or iVerb when iVerb. If you've streamed any Source games or just many different games back in the day, you probably would have seen him in your stream. He really I don't know, he's a smart kind of a guy. He has found some pretty crazy things in this game in particular. But yeah, he owns our leaderboards for challenge mode at the URL board.iverb.me, and I'll just link that real quick if anyone wants to see that.
Okay.
What happened to Nuclear's challenge board?
He just doesn't care about it at all. He started getting into CS:GO, and every time he would come into one of our streams or one of our videos, he's just, "It's a dead game. You're awful people. You should stop playing this." And yeah, He's just a ball of cancer.
It's
But
funny
yeah,
how
he-
you it's funny
Glad
how
to
you
hear
mentioned
someone
the
else saying it.
it's funny how you mentioned the tick rate and obviously in CS:GO. Like, the only reason I know what tick rate means is because I know a little bit about CS:GO.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
guess it's just the amount of times physics calculations and other stuff happen per second. Because
yeah,
if you were to make that frame rate dependent, then no, you would have it that the higher your frame rate is, the
yeah,
more broken your game would become.
mm,
yeah.
interesting.
Things that like processes like elevators moving and lifts going back and forth and uh, huh, general like sequences of things that are kind of like animated. Like they can get pretty nutty sometimes with it. It's it's kind of funny. And
Yeah,
even the
makes
mechanics
sense.
of the game, like I was saying, like bunny hopping when you strafe, that it reads. I guess yeah, it reads those inputs faster and lets you gain speed quicker. But it also um, repulsion gel in chapters 6, 7, and pretty much throughout the rest of the game. It doesn't quite work the same way with tick rate raised, where like you won't go quite as high when you bounce, and there's a one little boost which actually would be somewhere around I think 43 minutes in that we do in order to skip this one puzzle. That is just not possible with tick rate. I have no idea how, but I'll try to navigate this. And so that's actually one of my golds, but it's such a run of the mill chamber. I think about 2 minutes after that
All right.
would be where propulsion flings would be. Oh,
Yeah.
it's the chamber right after this one, so I'd say probably like 30 seconds after.
Yeah, there you go.
There you are. So this is the glitch right here. You basically scroll, well, you input
Yes.
jump a bunch of times on the ramp, and you just go straight to the ending, which is pretty nice.
Typical bound jump to scroll wheel. See, every Source runner does that.
Unless you're a scripting cheater.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just abusing jump mechanics, jumping every frame.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think otherwise, there hasn't really been much, at least in my knowledge, changes to the challenge mode leaderboard, other than there's a couple of commands. Other than routes that have been just ridiculously crafted to go as fast as possible. We've had some people use like a third-party time scaling kind of a thing in order to. Oh, this backup was so ridiculous. Jumping off of that portal to get to that beam is such a. I can't believe I shouldn't have gone for it. I shouldn't have done that for a backup, but I just had to go for it. I guess gotta go fast.
Hey, you almost fell. Yeah.
Yes, it was a. That's a fun little spot right there. There's some crazy routes in challenge mode for that now, but yeah. So aside from the exploits and random commands that we end up finding and that end up kind of being cheat protected later on, and some nutty things with the launch options, not much is really. It tends to hold its ground in being competitive for what it's worth. We find a way to make it competitive.
Fair enough. Another thing I was wondering about is co-op speedruns. Is that is that in a similar vein? Like, it has all the same mechanics and stuff to it?
Actually, I think for co-op, it tends to be a lot less broken, oddly enough. Tick rate still applies either if both people have it or if the host of the game has it. Otherwise, it hasn't seen a lot of screwy stuff. But it doesn't seem like it's quite as optimized in my opinion. However, I don't really do co-op a lot, and because I just there's one person that I keep wanting to co-op with, but he's always that's Zype. Actually, to be honest, I think with the way that I grind single player, it kind of makes it so that I don't know. I there's a slight difference in mechanics going from co-op to single player, where I believe your character model is a bit larger, and you hop just higher up with the co-op bots, and I'm not sure if that in particular, but I'm not sure if that's what makes you able to gain more speed as you hop. But yeah, when you can, when you can hop, it's you can go a lot faster, or at least clear a lot more distance than you can in with Chell in single player, and that makes for a lot of pretty interesting routes. And I guess the leaderboards for co-op tend to be sporadically active. It seems like when Zype and Undead can have a when they what's the word I'm looking for? When they have a session together, playing through, yeah, that they are like unbeatable. They get so many world records at once. It is ridiculous. Like just a little bit ago, so looks like at least in the Ivor leaderboards on the changelog, which you can get to by. I don't think anything's encrypted here. I'll just link this in the chat to show you guys what I'm looking at here for the world records in the past. That should work as a link.
All right.
I'll try it out myself. But yeah, this shows the past couple of world records that have happened in, well, just about the last week. I think if you go back a little bit, yeah, so actually 7 days ago, if for the week cut off kind of a thing, Kess reclaimed his propulsion flings from Zype. But aside from that, yeah, they took separation by a bit, which is a chamber in the sixth course, which you don't tend to see in the co-op run. The equivalent to single segment, you don't really play through that course. It's kind of like its own category. But they also took lasers after that, which is a really optimized run in my opinion. I was trying to do that with Kluger a little bit ago, and actually, geez, years ago. And it seems like that improvement to that, they must have found something new. I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't see that world record, but I don't think either one of them uploaded these guys. They're probably working on some kind of a montage, because that's what they do. They always make these videos like in co-op, at least Undead does, where he has a succession of all these runs that they get, because I mean they just can. It's ridiculous how they do it. But yeah, they get lasers. They got bridge fling, which I believe is hard light. That must be in course 3. But I'm gonna have to see that. I actually kind of forget what map that is. But then they did doors, which is super optimized. I didn't realize they cut it by that much, but holy crap. There's a new glitch I could get into with, or not a new glitch, but this seam shot that is just, the fact that they optimized it that much is, I'm speechless on that one. But they've got all these different world records in just a very quick couple of days that you will never see happen in single player, even when Zype is on just a vendor. He tends to be like the person who just gets everything when it comes to world records in this game. But yeah, that is incredible.
All right.
So,
I had a few more category questions. Or do you have any questions, S?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So you said you didn't have a co-op partner for co-op. So my question is, why don't you do solo co-op?
I tried to a little bit ago, but geez,
yeah.
I do not. There's something that happens in co-op where there's like a cap on your jump inputs on your scroll wheel for some reason, and so every single time you try to do a hop in co-op, solo co-op or regular co-op, if you scroll a little bit too fast, you're just going to be stuck to the ground and you'll just lose all your speed. So I never had that in single player, and that's why I always liked that a little bit better, even though you can like gain a little bit more speed in solo co-op. I think I managed to just break the sub 40, and after that I was pretty done with it. I had a lot of time save in one chamber where I think I lost like a minute and a half because of entering the wrong course. I I
What?
I I entered because with solo co-op you have cheats enabled and you have all the maps unlocked. You still have to do all the courses in succession, but I entered one course later than I was supposed to, and I ended up just having to reload it and losing a bunch of time, not realizing that, oh, this is a map that I'm doing like some other time,
Great.
and that run's just there, and we're just okay with it.
Yeah, I hate to ruin it, but you got 40 minutes 50 seconds, so you didn't quite get sub
Oh
40.
man,
You gotta go back, man, and improve, bro. All right.
It might be a thing. I might have to do that at some point now that I got this world record in
There
single
you go.
segments.
That's the record you're gonna get 2 weeks from now. Like, every
Yes.
time.
Oh,
Okay. So yeah, a few more questions about categories. Why is any percent bad?
Huh. Well,
Because
any percent is not really bad. It's just, if you could imagine, it's less popular than single segment. And it's just manifest destiny, I guess, where one person really wanted to make it big, but it just never took off. That's Jesus's run, right? His RTA run. Well, any percent, yeah. There is a lot of really cool routes that like I remember I was saying Ivor is just a ridiculous router for this game. He came up with something that was a super controversial route because it involves going into challenge mode from during a single player campaign run where it's known as wrong warp. I think you'll be able to find an example of this probably about 13 I'll go 14 minutes in.
14 minutes in, okay. I'll also full screen it.
Definitely somewhere closer to 17, I would
17, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Yep, here it is. Perfect. He goes into challenge mode. I think this is where he's in dual lasers. He's going into laser over goo, and he manages to skip the entirety of the puzzle. But what he does is he with the coordinates from like right here you see challenge mode flags, and those you wouldn't see in the single player campaign. He runs into those, and what they do is for some reason they change the level to the next one, fading out of the map, but they keep him at the same coordinates that he's at, and from there he just spawns on top of the level, and he falls onto this random you have to do a bit of strafing for this one. I've tried it myself. It's kind of easy, but this is also a very old run. But yeah, he manages to get onto this pipe that is just in the middle of nowhere, and then he oh yeah, this is another glitch that's very fun. Basically, when you pause out of bounds, you lose all of your momentum. So if you just hold the directional key and you continue to resume, you'll just go at a constant kind of diagonal trajectory. So he's clipping back into the map right here in order to finish laser over goo. To be honest, if I were to do this now, I'd probably just go through the intended way, because I think that the way that I do that with the reportal in the map, it's faster than the way he's doing this right now. And if it is faster, then it's only by a couple of seconds, so it doesn't seem like it's There's bigger fish to fry in this category, but that's just tricks that he does. That,
Fair enough.
Another one that I actually tried to do myself because I didn't like the wrong warp myself. The other trick that is a completely different thing from single segment is, well, saving and loading. What you can do with that, just in and of itself, is clip through the floor if you're between a portal in some cases. And from there, which actually, for an example of this, I would go, I'd say about, how long is this video right here, the VOD?
1.5 hours.
Okay, I would go about 55 minutes in.
Right.
Just as I don't know why it's that specific, but I figure tell me we're on the right map. It's definitely old aperture, but it's it skips maybe like I think it's about a good 30-second time save. Oh no, it's about 4 minutes from here. Later, 4 minutes later from here. It's in. Really? He's not doing it. That's odd. In my, I'll try to find a link of my run where I do this, but that's fun. There's this like 30-second time save that he doesn't do in there. I'm kind of curious as to why he doesn't, because that's 30 seconds. That's excellent.
Oh god.
I'll try to find
I'm
time
like
for this guy.
I'm like digging up all the other categories that no one does runs of. You know, like, oh, that's actually really bad. I should improve this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. So any percent is not run as much because you just do wrong warps and stuff with saves and loads. Yeah.
Yeah, we just do a lot of things that have been kind of controversial in the community in saving time. I found the example of this guy right here. I'll just go ahead and link this in the chat in
sure.
Skype. No, I'll just link it in. I'll link it in the chat on Twitch.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a super reportal. It's basically where you clip into the ground from saving and loading between the portal, and you get to kind of get stuck in the portal, but by reportaling over and over again, being stuck, you get to gain a bunch of speed, and from there, you just fling across the map and save a bunch of time, not having to go through that one chamber. And I think that's another find for Myverb. He found a lot of really nutty things in this game, but it really just, it's kind of a learning curve in and of itself, I guess, with this game, and that's probably, or in this category, and that's probably why not a lot of people do it, because it's not, like, again, Manifest Destiny, it's not really recognized, so it's not very recognized and not very played, or not very popular, so it's not very popular. But it could get traction with a couple of runs, methinks. I could probably do something with this.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. I think that's it for my random category questions. Have you got any questions or things you want to bring up, S?
Maybe we should cover some of the more basic glitches in the ROM, because we've talked about like special glitches that aren't used in the ROM. But like, what about what are some normal glitches that you do use in a normal ROM?
Well, I tried to already explain bunny hopping. We have one that's really contextual, which is a dialogue, like just dialogue skipping in general. Does that like exist in any other, just like that kind of? I guess it does for to have that relating to certain.
I know what you're talking about. I wouldn't be able to give you another example. No, what is it? Explain for the people who don't know what it is.
I know that it definitely doesn't exist in not to as large an extent in co-op, but in single player rather, it's like so much of the time save, where basically by hitting certain triggers that start certain dialogue or certain dialogue triggers, they make it so that you can bypass things a little more quickly when things are like dependent upon, when sequences are dependent upon those stopping, which is almost every single elevator fade out of the level. For some reason, well, actually, probably because they actually wanted people to pay attention to the storyline, they made it so that at the end of a lot of different chambers, you can't fade out of the level unless you've heard specific dialogue that's happened. And that's why every single run that you'll ever see uploaded that new people watch, they always ask, why do you stop at the end of elevators? And that's just because there's a set of dialogue triggers in every elevator, or every couple of, most elevators, let's say. There's a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, you have to line up the ends of specific dialogue with those triggers so that you can hit them immediately after that dialogue ends. And on that vein, there's a lot of skips where you hit triggers in order to skip dialogue or to override it. And one of those examples, I don't know if you could play the audio to this, but at 2 minutes and 3 seconds in, there's like a really, really ridiculous window of time, very, very short window of time, where you can skip a bit of dialogue that Wheatley says, and after you fall through this chamber, not getting the portal gun on that podium. Now, this is the sequence right here that you got to go super fast. You get boosted off of this ramp or this slanted thing that you can't see. You got to hop through this section, and then just at this very specific time, I hop off of that level, that platform right there, and the amount of it's not a very complex thing because I've managed to find some things that are consistent with it, but you have to hit your head off of a specific ceiling after doing a specifically timed jump in order to skip like a good 30 seconds of dialogue from both the announcer in the game and Wheatley as he's just talking and rambling and stuff. But you have to do it in a way that's basically as fast as you would have to do it in if you wanted a nice top 30 time in challenge mode. And you also have to do it very precisely. It's not just fast, it's also a ridiculously small window. But with dialogue skips like that, we end up saving tons and tons of time with this. Another glitch that's kind of, well, it's useful in my runs because I actually do them. A lot of people don't do them because of how inconsistent they are. But I believe about 2 minutes or I'd say a minute and a half after that clip right there of Portal Gun, there's another chamber called Future Starter, which has the first of like 2 times that I do this, where a button glitch is where you jump or you get onto the edge of a button and you walk off of it in such a way that it doesn't have time to trigger that you've gotten off of the button. So you have to hop on the very edge of it, in this case, and get off of it immediately so that it only registers that you were on it, because I guess it's a 2-tick kind of a thing. But yeah, you essentially keep the button on without having to solve the puzzle with any cube or whatever to keep it on the button. And that saves some time. That only saves about 6 seconds right there. Or
how did they mess that up?
Oh, it's such a crapshoot. I mean, there's a lot of chambers where they didn't like have that happen, but yeah, that's something that I'm still, I have no idea. There's probably one person that I'm sure knows exactly why it is, but
so they've got so like is it like every chamber they like reprogrammed the button and every button acts differently or something?
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it probably has something to do with what the button triggers, because for that one in particular, it doesn't just trigger the door. It also triggers like the sequence of the platform under it, under the doorway coming up. For the other one, it triggers like a wonky old aperture door, and that one it happens in very rare instances. But the other one that I know that it happens in, it also involves that platform kind of thing raising up in pit flings. We don't do that in runs, but it's such an inconsistent trick. But for some reason, just me playing and grinding the game, I just managed to kind of know what to do to make it work.
All right,
more or less.
That's weird. I'm still surprised they let that let that through, even if it's just specific buttons. That's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, in a new mod of the game, Mel, just about every single button can be button glitched, which is so weird. They obviously missed the mark somewhere. I don't know how they did that badly, but yeah, every single one just button glitchable.
Interesting.
It's odd.
All right.
I want to talk a bit about crouch flying, in particular at the end of chapter 8, I think it is, where you activate the crouch flying glitch and then do a bunch of levels in succession. with
Yeah.
it. I think like almost the entirety of Chapter 9 as well. When do you start that? Because that's always been one of my favorite parts of the run.
Well,
Go on.
actually, so the crouch fly glitch has some pretty ridiculous history to it. A Castlevania speedrunner now named Scout discovered that thing on, I am told, the day that this game came out.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
And like from there, I mean, he found a nice kind of little application of it. But since then, game's totally broken now from chapters 8 and up. Like, you just cannot get through a level without. I mean, there are
Do
a
you have
couple
a
of levels.
timestamp for when that
When chapter
glitch
9
initiated?
starts?
Yeah.
I just watched it
Well,
now. I already found it.
So,
Okay.
the first one that happens is funnel intro. That one, I believe, that one just played where recent. That was one of the more recent routes of it, actually. Gigaplur, who's a map creator, found out that you can place a portal next to that funnel. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to carry it through because you can't uncrouch when you're on the ceiling getting that crouch fly glitch. But because you're through a portal, you can crouch and then uncrouch and preserve the thing through to the next couple of levels, which saves a bunch of time. It's like a good 20 seconds or so. And that is really what's accounting for like being able to clutch my way through the rest of the run for this one. But yeah, from here, there's so many different applications of it. Basically, anywhere where you can get to the end of a funnel or just inside a funnel at 0 momentum or speed, you just crouch at the end of it, or crouch and uncrouch if you want to preserve it. But you just all of a sudden have 0 velocity or 0 gravity, basically. And throughout finales 1 to 3, not the last level because it's ridiculously hard to get through the boss fight with that, as shown in the Least Portals run. We preserve that all throughout there because there's so many like segments that are just so much easier when you have no gravity to work with. But throughout the game, especially now that those Gigaplayer routes have been created and we use them all the time now, there's so much more crouch fly in the run, and it's a nice thing. But yeah, that's a major and very old and oddly tricky kind of a glitch that we just tend to use now.
Yeah.
It's
a
good one.
I actually remember when it was discovered by Scout, and I actually remember like I was still doing my casual playthrough of the game, right, when I just bought it. And I actually tried to do it, but I don't think I ever did. It was pretty game breaking, just being able to fly like that. Obviously, a game.
It's
a
probably
game.
The second most popular comment that I get on any of my run videos, if people haven't seen it before, is, "Why is this a real run? You just cheated through the last part of the game." Imbecile.
Yeah.
And you have to explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's really funny how having no gravity completely breaks a platforming-based puzzle game.
Counterintuitive, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Anyone else?
Yeah, is there anything else you want to mention? Any glitches or any cool stuff? Or
right here, there's like that right there that you just played is another ridiculous glitch that was found by the player Tanger2B, and I think inspired by Gigaplayer's routes in trying it. If you could play it back about 20 seconds, he's found a way to place a portal on what is essentially not portalable because of a specific angle that you use or a specific place that you shoot, where it bumps a portal to where it thinks will be portalable, or the game thinks. But there's a certain like shot that you do in the chamber coming up after this one, funnel catch, where you can portal yourself over to the last bit of the chamber and just completely break it in a way that hasn't been done before. It saved a good 7-8 seconds in challenge mode alone, but like this it's always a nice little thing to add to the run, especially with all the incredibly specific and precise dialogue skips and everything. But yeah, it's right 3, 2, 1. Oh, I missed it a couple of times because it is very precise. But you shoot right on the corner of that platform, and it places a portal right there where you can hit the button to spawn the cube, and you just throw that to the end, and it's done. It's
I think
one of
I
the very
think there's
few
a glitch
levels.
like that in the co-op mode as well, where you bump a portal onto a grate like that.
I think so. I forget which map that is, but yeah, there's a
It's in course too. Like I learned it the last time I played this game. I don't know what the map is called now.
I think it's got to be one of the later ones. Sorry, I can't think of that one. It's been. You know what? I remember what it's multi-fling. It's one like I don't remember it being too useful because of or at least in the single segment run, it seemed like it wasn't too useful. But then again, I haven't really seen like every way that's been used. But yeah, they are. It's such a. It didn't seem like it really. How do I want to say this? Like, it's such a find. It just makes no sense that it was ever found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just randomly goes shooting at every single surface there is in the game. I mean, he has his ways, I guess, with the developer console and the engine in its entirety. But Tanger 2B is just a ridiculous router, and he, along with a bunch of other people that have just painstakingly routed this game, they've just made it something that it is certainly not supposed to be. Well, I mean, in the intended playthrough compared to that.
Mm.
But it's a fun kind of a thing.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, that's like all the glitches. Yeah, I forgot about the flying glitch. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty important one. Actually, I actually want to watch the. Where's the final boss fight? I want to watch it just because it's fun.
That one is. I mean, the ending sequence. That's probably like, I think 8 minutes long. Yeah, this is the final boss fight right there. It's it's an interesting kind of a way to end off the game because it's mostly cutscene, but there's certainly like spots where if you do the wrong routes, you will soft lock and you won't be able to come back from that. It's just
You do the bomb juggling now, right?
yeah, exactly. If you do that wrong, like if you're like maybe if you're a fraction of a second off with that first or the second bomb hit on him, you'll soft lock and you'll just keep shooting bombs at you, and you'll never be able to complete the map unless you do some newly found by Tanger 2B very specific shot where you intersect like or you shoot between bomb cycles of his so that you will just like barely not die in that ending cutscene, but bombs will keep shooting at you throughout the entirety of the thing, like through the credits and through up until the end of everything. It's great, which is called bad ending right there. But I certainly avoided that by doing some easier, older timing strats that I had in my arsenal from a while ago. But it's an easy map, and it's kind of deceptively so because man, like it's such a devastating spot to screw up. I managed to get all of the cores onto him, of 3 that you do have to get onto him to make him to corrupt him, and all of them were fairly optimized, and I think the fight will be hard to compete with actually in the future when I do more runs. But it's a nice ending boss fight. It's certainly it's not as broken as a lot of them. Other Source games.
Yeah, like
Definitely.
the Portal 1 boss fight.
Yeah, that is just a complete and utter joke with with
Missile.
no holds barred.
Yeah.
I mean, in Glitchless, I think they still do the original boss fight the way it's intended in that sequence, but otherwise, yeah, they've learned to make this, I guess, more foolproof.
Mm.
It is a long sequence, I will say. I think it's like a 4-minute fight, or 4 minute and 30 second, something like that minute fight. It's no joke. It's a nice intense little sequence. Definitely well put together. That it is.
Yeah, I remember really enjoying this boss fight the first time I played. It's very good.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you have any questions, Jos? I think we should move on to the chat Q&A at some point.
Yeah, I think we're close to the end. We're running about the correct estimate time, so I think go ahead and pop your line in the chat. So yeah, if you have any questions, primarily for Per, but also for me and S, I guess, go ahead and pop in a question. Make sure you use a question mark, otherwise we won't see it.
Yep.
Pop it in chat and then we'll discuss it. I'm just waiting for. I want to ask: have you ever missed the moon?
Oh, I think when I was trying to find out what to hit when I first played this, I mean, it puts you right there, but yeah, you don't expect to just like have this limited little spot you can actually aim at, and so yeah, we're just trying to find some ceiling to hit. Otherwise, it's just like just hit the moon, just stop playing this game. That's what it feels like. It's great. Yeah. But it's nice with this shot and with no other shots other than this one. You can actually hold the either mouse 1 or mouse 2 as like either orange or blue of those portals, and it'll just frame perfectly shoot that portal for you once that little sequence ends where you get blown up. No other place is it like that. And it'll also, like it happens in Finale 2, it'll replace the portal that you had on the floor so that will actually work for you. You won't be able to ruin the run by placing the wrong portal there, which is pretty nice. It's a weird kind of a fix that they had, but that is one.
All right. Yeah, I guess that's it. Unless you got any more questions, S.
No, I think we should move on to chat Q&A.
Yeah, seems like a good point at the end of the run. I won't play the ending song, but yeah, you could watch the ending play out in front of us. All right then.
When the copyright on your video, I sung over it. I mean, definitely. Next question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll answer this one. Zephyr Speedy asks, will I do Hearthstone speedruns again? You keep asking me this, and I keep saying maybe. I'm busy, alright? What else we got? We got lots of spoilers about the ending of True 100%, the latest episode. That's good. Don't look, S, don't look.
Alright, I'll close the chat. You read the questions.
Okay. Great, what have I done? Oh yeah, here's a good question. I'm assuming it's directed at you, Per. So how did you get into speedrunning? That's always a good question.
I remember just going through YouTube, and I think the first speedrun that I saw was probably Siglemic's 120-star run that he did at an AGDQ a while ago, which is probably like one of the most popular speedruns ever in speedrunning in general. But having seen that and just like played that game before, being all mesmerized with the tricks just that don't stop happening, like that, I guess that kind of drew me to first wanting to speedrun Super Mario 64, but not really having any money to get together a CRT TV, a capture card, and all the computing power to stream it all. I just started playing some Steam games that I had in my library, of which before that, maybe like a couple of months before that, I saw some segmented run of this game that I had never seen since, even having looked for it. Oddly enough, I might have just taken it down because it wasn't really that great. But I ended up trying to just get through the game with all the intended strats that I knew as fast as possible, timing it with like my iPod Touch and its nice little ghetto timer on it. I think I remember having to like reset the timer because it went on too long. But I think that run was probably like I think on the higher end of 3 hours, like 3 hours 40 minutes maybe. And I I decided that I wanted to keep doing that because it always has so much stuff that I could just. Back then, I was able to learn something new about it every day, which was a nice thing because there was so much information. Up until I started creating my own little optimizations and routes, and but yeah, it's. I guess I just it was something that I decided I would just kind of do to pass time on my computer, and from there, yeah, I just kept doing it, and it's been pretty fun.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like it's always one of the big people like Siglemic and that lot that always get people into it in the first time.
Yeah, a lot of people. I think it's weird. Most people that I talk to around the same time that I've been playing, they've seen videos from Newt Shem and Bananasaurus Rex, but I just had no idea those people exist when I started running, and ever since then, I've been out of that loop perpetually. I just.
All right. Here's the next question from Fintas. Do you have a favorite community test chamber?
I think my favorite, which is probably not a popular answer because I don't do like a lot of. Actually, giving it some more thought. I think I'm gonna have to stick with Aerials by Crank. A lot of his maps, just in general, they seem like they're just such good tests of like going fast. That was just one that I kind of it stuck with me for about a year because there was things that over the course of getting better at the mechanics of the game, that map seemed to follow me, and I would just accomplish new things in that map because it has like 14 different courses throughout it where you can do different things, and it's where I learned a lot of the tricks that I know, and or at least honed skills in them, and so I like that map, at least for its intent and how it's all executed and stuff. I like that one the most. Graphics wise, I couldn't tell you though. There's so many that people have done great jobs on, but I can't even think of the names right now, which is kind of terrible. But
all right, fair enough.
There are some good ones, I will say.
Yeah, I imagine there is like a popular game like Portal. I imagine a lot of people made some really good content. Here's another one.
I'd say for the puzzle, for like the puzzles themselves, Azure and Lizard Rocket make some of the most like some of the most complicated and really the hardest puzzles that you could possibly imagine, especially Lizard Rockets with funnels and just any element that's intended in the game. He's pretty ridiculous. Can't think of any specific maps off the top of my head though with that.
All right. Move on to the next question then. So Zephyr asks, what other games do you run?
That's the question I wanted to ask. I usually ask that question.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, I tried a couple of different games. I actually did try Super Mario 64 for a little bit with the emulator. I just there was another person that I was watching at the time. It's his Twitch handle is POPSKYY, and then maybe some other crap there. It's like Popsky, that's what he's known as. And he was doing some emulator runs just for fun, and I decided, hey, I can easily do that with my streaming capabilities, and so I did that for a little bit. I think I got like a 22-minute time for 16 star, and then I just kind of stopped to go back to Portal 2. I've done some Portal 1 legacy runs because that I always liked the simplicity of that and how there's not really the I guess with the save glitching and everything like that, it seems like it involves a little bit more being a little bit more into the game than I was. So I ran Legacy, which is just a category in Portal 1 of just going through the game kind of as we did in Inbounds before the save glitch and everything like that was found. But I think I got like a 16-minute time with that. Not very good. I never really was happy with my PBs and that, and yeah.
Yeah, I found the run. It's 16 minutes 44 seconds, and your comment is bad run. I'll do better sometime later. And that was 2 years ago. So
We're starting to rack up a queue of runs that I have to get in the next couple of weeks for world record. I'm getting a little bit terrified. I think the only other game that I really tried to run other than that was like Half-Life 2, and I think that was like 4 hours or something. That was, and I tried Half-Life 1, and I never made it past like the Vortigaunt launch at the beginning, and I never figured that thing out. But other than that, yeah, like I pretty much just stuck with what I knew. Portal 2. That seems like
yeah. Speaking of Portal 2, I found one of your weirder runs. This is Portal 2 LSD%.
Oh yeah, Baser's category.
What is this?
That is one command in Developer Console. That's R draw all world. I think it's R draw worlds 0 or something like that. I'm sure it's somewhere in the speedrun.com thing. That's kind of it's basically using one command that like doesn't render certain objects to make you just play like in complete I don't know, just it's there's another command that works a little bit better for it. I kind of forget that one, but we just found one command that playing through the game, it's just really difficult and dumb and annoying and frustrating, and it's a great mix of emotions for if you want to do something new. It's a category. We have it up there. It's not there. We also have third person, which I think if you could keep that one is a really nice little category to run. It's stupid hard with a lot of the precise shots that we have and everything, but it's so much. It's a nice little variation of it, but I don't think I ever really got a great run of it. I think 1 hour 18 minutes is the best thing I did with it. I'll try to find that if I can.
I found your run of it. The video doesn't load.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's a Twitch VOD and the link's broken. And yours is the only run of it, so I can't find anything else.
That's no good. I'm gonna have to look for that at some point. But yeah, that's. Oh, you know what? I actually have a YouTube video of it. I'm fairly sure. I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Okay.
Because it's a nice looking run for a couple of chambers. I know, but yeah, that's one of those ones that if I uploaded it, yeah, that's been a while. But I know that I didn't really care to find any. It's such a under the radar category that. Huh.
Do you have a category extensions page on speedrun.com?
I think I. Darn.
No, they don't. They just have all the runs in. Yeah, they just have all it under miscellaneous.
That was kind of a nutty little run though. With just having, I think the hardest chamber to go through with that, or at least the nicest looking chamber, if I did all the things that you do in single segment, was underground, which would be like almost smack dab in the middle of the game. I'll try to see if I can find that little highlight. I got so many highlights. That is. Oh, no.
While you find that, the next question's directed at me, so I'll answer it. When's Royal Flush? It's coming, damn it. I'm trying. His question for all of you: what is the hardest game to speedrun you know, and have you ever wanted to speedrun it for fun? I guess we'll start with US.
Well,
because I can't think of anything.
What is your definition of hard? Because like stuff can be hard because like it requires a lot of execution. In which case, like of the games that I'm interested in, like Mirror's Edge comes to mind because it is trick after trick after trick. But like there's also hard as in like figuring out what the fuck is going on in the first place, which would be like Portal 1 out of bounds. Like, and by the time you figured out how that all works, you're like months ahead, I'm imagining, and then you have to start running it. So Yeah, and those two games, I guess. I'm not too familiar with non-PC games, so I'm not gonna just judge those. What
They
about you,
say
Jim?
hard and means of frustrating, which
A means of frustrating.
doesn't help too much.
I mean, yeah, hard and frustrating are kind of almost synonymous. Here's the video that I found of the third person run, but I'm gonna have to take a little bit to actually find the timestamp for the thing. But yeah, like there's, yeah, that question is kind of really, it's not a bad question because there's definitely ways to answer it, but there's define hard is that kind of is the that's the virtue kind of when it comes to completing runs is, I mean, how ridiculous of a thing can you do in a sitting with a game, or just what can you execute in some given I guess
Yeah, I can't think of anything directly hard that I've wanted to do. Or frustrating.
I got it. It's sorry for cutting you off, but it's 5125 is the sequence of Underground.
5125, okay. Yeah, but I can't think of anything directly hard that I've wanted to do runs of. Don't know, actually. That's an interesting question. Think about that for a bit, and we'll move on to the next question. We might come back to it. The next question is kind of exactly the same question, so I'll skip that.
There was one that I saw that I think was
very,
kind of more like...
very important question coming up, Josh. You better not miss it.
What, the one about true 100%?
Not that.
No?
No.
Oh, are there any guides for Portal 2?
Yes, that one.
That is a good question, yes.
Had one myself.
There's stuff. There's a lot of different, like, Znernicus has like a tutorial he made a while ago that's kind of all encapsulating for the old strats, that I guess I could link like the first chapter of it too, but there's a lot of outdated stuff in that, and to know a lot of the new stuff is probably like the same thing in a lot of communities, especially like the smaller ones, where you just have to kind of ask around. I mean, just basically ask me for any like help on that. I've uploaded a couple of tutorials on some more some kind of updated or slight optimizations in chambers that are like it's really dumb if you don't do them because of how easy they can be, as long as you know what you're doing. Some of those I've uploaded like 3 gels in its entirety. Ironically enough, I uploaded like the most in-depth, like 1 map tutorial of that thing based on a couple of questions that some people were having who wanted to run this. And I mean, it is a very like complicated chamber, I will say. Like, yeah, this I also have a couple of other individual level tutorials, but for the most part, if you want to get into the game, I would just start watching runs. Actually, no, that's just knowing how much I've been talking about the run. Never mind, I'm going to renege on that. I would just I would watch Znernicus's tutorial, seeing as they're the most. It's at least when I started running, it seems like a really, really good template for everything. I'm going to link the chapter 1 of the tutorial, which I also think I have in my FAQ, but yeah, there's a bunch of tutorials like that. There's even one that I have on knowing when to enter the elevator for fades to match up with dialogue endings on maps. But that's actually, it's not really as much a tutorial as it is like just me posting a bunch of different timestamps from the segments of the run because I was lazy. But yeah, there's so many. There's a lot of different videos out there. If you start with this, you will learn. Just anytime you see a video where it's like any kind of a challenge mode world record or anything like that, just link me the video and I'll probably know what's going on to an extent that I can explain it in too much detail.
What about the bunny hopping? Because bunny hopping is like a very difficult part in this run, I guess, and especially like difficult to master. But I remember when I started off running Portal 2 back in 2011 when it was released, I had quite some difficulty getting the bunny hopping down. Are there some good resources about that now?
There isn't anything new, but if you're looking for just some basic stuff, a baby, or I think Mr. Infants on YouTube has posted a bunny hopping tutorial. However, there's nothing that's very in depth for like optimizing your hops to the point of really like it's one of the main reasons that you see people having so many hours in this game, because literally over that entire time you're just getting better at those hops. But I will say, like, if you're looking to advice for someone that really just knows, anyone in the custom map running community where you're just trying to get the best hops in sequence, I would start off right here with the tutorial from a baby. This is a nice little introduction to it, and it's from 2012, so it's certainly going to be the basic guide that you want to use. But yeah, I would just there's a couple of different runners that I think I am pretty much obligated to link their channels to if you want like to really get to the upper limit of what bunny hopping is in this game. Here's one of them. This is the Kess. He uploads a lot of really great montages, or at least he used to. He doesn't really do that too much anymore, although he might be looking to make some stuff. Draku, never mind. I was gonna say to go to Draku's channel, but he does not. He's not a very friendly person to new people. He's very impatient when it comes to ignorance of a lot of stuff. I would say though, Crank, the maker of tons of these different maps, absolutely go to him with questions if he's ever on. He's on sporadically, but let me see if I can find that guy on YouTube.
All right.
Got him.
Yeah.
So again, like there's tutorials, but what it really comes down to is just grinding the crap out of making your movement better. I have to absolutely recommend for bunny hopping, even just in this past week, having this mechanical keyboard. My hops have gotten so much better because you wouldn't think that latency would matter on a keyboard, but holy crap. And the G502 is like an awesome little thing for with some mouse skates, as per Yuxpa's recommendation. Yeah, there you go, represent. It's phenomenal. It's a great mouse.
All right.
I don't think I've done Portal 2 hops on manual keyboard yet. I gotta give it a try.
Yeah, it's the thing that's kind of odd is like the way that I learned how to bunny hop had so much to do with the latency that I had on my keyboard. I didn't like I kind of internalized it, but I never really thought about it. I would always have to strafe a little earlier than I would start turning my mouse, and I would just keep grinding the chambers, and when I would go faster, I would just keep doing that. But now that I have this mechanical keyboard, I can actually be like, okay, well, I'm hitting A, so move the mouse to the left, and same thing for D. And so
I'm gonna try some of that like right after this stream.
yeah, it's still gonna be ridiculously hard. Don't get me wrong. It's not an easy thing, but it's such a good thing to have. To start off with a mechanical keyboard and a gaming mouse is going to do you wonders in the next couple of 1,000 hours if you decide to play this game.
Yeah, bunny hopping is something that you learn slowly but surely, and let me see how many hours I have. Not too much, but
oh yeah, I'm up there. Anyone that ever gets good at this game generally has to have at least 2,000 hours, which is probably pretty nutty, especially compared to like Portal 1 and even Half-Life 1. I think those people. I think Cube Face, when he was doing runs, he had like 1,000 when I saw him, but he was so ridiculous at the game. But with this game, it just takes so much banging your head against the wall. Get yourself the best things for it, because man, it's going to be a grind either which way, but it's going to be a better grind with the right stuff. And yeah, I don't have any specific like recommendations for for computer parts or anything like that. But that, and again, just communicate with the people who have already done all the banging their head against the wall for any little advice, because sometimes it does help, and we can actually, stop taunting the new people.
Yeah.
I looked up my hours. I have like 600 to 700 hours in Portal 2 on speedrunning, and like I wouldn't consider myself anywhere close to being good. Like I'm certainly not bad, but like I have 13th place on the co-op leaderboards, I think. But like a lot of stuff, I'm just so inconsistent at it, and a lot of it is down to the bunny hopping and stuff.
Cool. All right then. And I guess with that, as we're approaching 2 hours, we'll call it the end. There are a few questions, but I don't think we'll be able to give a decent answer for any of them. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the chat Q&A, I guess. So yeah, now we are to the end of the stream and the podcast. Thanks a lot for watching. Now we have a few things we need to do. So we need to plug our YouTube and Discord. So at the end of every stream, or probably tomorrow actually, because I'm probably going to come off the computer after this because it's so damn hot. But yeah, I upload the VODs to YouTube, so you can watch the whole thing there if you don't want to watch in Twitch's player instead. And we also have our Discord where you can come talk to us and tell us about records and public research channel and stuff like that, and let us know all the stuff you find. People in there are helpful. And also we have our world record submission form. So yeah, if you see a cool record in the next week, submit it and let us know about it, and we'll talk about it on next week's podcast. We also need guests for future episodes. Do we have anyone lined up?
I don't have anyone lined up, so you're gonna have to find someone, Josh.
Yeah, I'll do that. Should we say
I'd say
Go on.
it would probably be a pretty interesting conversation if you could get if the same learning curve exists in Return to Castle Wolfenstein. That game's been around for so long that I can only imagine the amount of information that guy has that just did that run. However, I would say if you want like a very well-rounded conversation, I would probably... I'm sorry for giving my plugs here, but I'd say Blood Thunder is another guy that's run that game, and he might...
Yeah, Blood
if you can
Thunder
get that guy.
I had on mind on getting on at some point.
Yeah, Blood Thunder does a lot of things, doesn't he? So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's in the know.
I think he's done Portal as well, and for a while.
Yeah, he was doing Doom for a while as well. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. There we go. So there we go. What else we got? So at the start of the episode we talked about what we did in the past week. Now we'll talk about what we're going to do in the next week. So I started that, so I'll start this. I don't know what I'm doing next week. Probably more GT Online. Maybe I might find something else. That's me done. S?
I will continue playing Deus Ex Mankind about it off stream. But I kind of also want to do GTA 5 online speedruns of heists, but getting that shit organized, I'm not very good at it. So invite me, Josh.
Okay, well, you're not awake early enough. Maybe, yeah, we'll have to do that.
I'll see if I can get like 2 or 3 days of San Andreas 100% attempts in.
You and your 14-hour speedruns.
Yeah.
Alright, and yeah, what are you up to, Pero?
I'm probably gonna just end up sticking with what I know with all the time save there is in the single segment run that I can just hope to. Ooh, I didn't realize how much brighter everything made that. Let's see if that's any better. Right. I don't know. I'm gonna be doing more Portal 2 if I have any free time, but yeah, I'll try to do some more runs, break that 58-minute barrier.
Fair enough.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think it's you're bright. I think we're both dark because we started this when the sun was up for us, and now the sun's down, and I'm only illuminated by the screen in front of me. Like if I go to a dark tab, I disappear. Okay.
I mean, it's been cloudy pretty much when I started, and now like the sun is not up, but it's still kind of light out. So
All right.
I don't think I changed much. I don't know.
Well, I'm in the room I'm in. I have curtains everywhere, but the sun still kind of lights the room a little bit. But when the sun's not full pelt, it gets dark in it.
Yeah, I think the thing is like when I have two like white backgrounded tabs on my monitors, like I have so much gamma on my main monitor right here because of Turret Factory and just liking to see things in maps and such. So my gamma is probably also a culprit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what's next in the list of things I have to do? Yes. So we'll find a raid target and a message. Unless we can find.
I know a raid target.
Okay. Is it NASA?
Yes.
Okay. Damn. I was gonna say unless we can find someone pretty good and relevant, we probably should just raid NASA.
Yeah.
Which is...
Well, like if you still want to say that, then sure. Like that seems fair.
Yeah.
I could. Sorry, I'll see if there's anyone on my following list that's just randomly. Of course, now everyone's going to start streaming because they all want to get raided.
Oh, okay.
That happens.
Actually, maybe we should raid NASA because the person we had on last week, Lurk-chan, just started his run of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
It's very
which we're
good,
talking
yeah.
about. So that's actually very relevant, I'm afraid.
My lord. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be watching Cool Kid. He's doing freaking Half-Life again.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
All right, so
he's ridiculous. He's like the Siglemic of Half-Life to me. It's
PerOculos, what's your favorite quote in Portal 2?
my favorite quote in Portal 2. I think it's probably going to have to be the one in Laser Over Goo, where GLaDOS, after finishing the chamber, which the strat I do, you'll know how ironic it is. But it's like, I'll give you credit. I guess you are listening to me, but for the record, you don't have to go that slowly. In reference to the thing at the beginning of the map, she's just going, "Well, we're still building this crap, so just go slow." You know, just don't be fast.
That's a long quote. I hope that works. I hope that works as a raid message. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. Thanks to everyone for watching. Let's go raid NASA. If you don't know what NASA is, it's like the sister marathon to ESA. It's the American one. Go there, raid them with that really long message. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. And we'll see you next week for whoever we have on that week. So yeah, thanks a lot for coming on, Per, and
Bye.
see you next week.
For
Bye.
sure.
Ciao.
I need to find the Skype mute button. There it is. And outro. Here we go. Eventually. There it is.